Upon Kalle's arrival in Tromsø, he set about rebuilding his life. He'd only taken the job as it was all that was available. However, he felt that there was a chance Henrik could be here due to its isolation and everything he'd learned about the Nomads so far. He'd been frantically cross-referencing names and codes from the trove of data he'd obtained. He'd managed to find some that lined up with players and staff in the Elite Assyrian. The only question was what to do with those links. As always, if you have been enjoying the series, drop a like on the video. That would be bloody tremendous and all that jazz. Tromsø. We find ourselves here with, I'd say, not a bit of a rebuilding job. Obviously, the club itself have been fairly stable in the top flight for the last couple of seasons. In fact, finishing as high as 5th 1 year. And they only lost their manager due to him leaving to go to another side. So he clearly built something pretty solid here. And I do think it's going to take a bit of time for us to really settle in and get this club working the way we want, particularly with this probably being the most complex one in terms of the players that currently exist here, because it doesn't really suit us, but I want to make sure that we can bring in the guys that will make it suit us. And that's what we're attempting to do, hopefully, today. But as we talked about in the last video, there is one key priority for us over the course of today's video, and that is to find a recognized advanced forward, and for me, ideally one that's got a really solid left foot on him. Now, to be honest with you, if we could find a way to get Sasha Angelkovic, I would do it, because he's already proven that he can play well in this system, and I think linking up with someone like Michael Indistad could be the dream scenario for him. Now, there's one slight change I've actually made to our tactic before we've even got anything, and I'll quickly show you that now. That is to move our DLP to an AP in that central midfield spot. I know we talked in the last video about potentially moving it back up to where it was before and having a box-to-box in that area. However, I really enjoyed the way that the advanced playmaker played for my team using a similar shape in the Streamer Showdown over the weekend, and it does seem that in the newest version of the match engine, advanced playmakers in that central midfield role can actually be quite a fruitful prospect. So Grönbeck might well find himself sitting a little bit deeper this time around, and we may have to look for some options elsewhere in this team. But I do think there's a quality side here. Striker is required, and I definitely think other centre-backs, another centre-back would be good, just because we need more depth in those areas. Wing-backs I'm always on the lookout for. But beyond that, I think there's something quite good here. And if we could ship some players out, maybe get some money coming in, that's always going to be up in the air. But we'll figure it out as we go, I suppose. So let's get cracking. We don't have a huge amount of money available. That much is for sure. Only 700, I wish, £70,000 and around about 5k in wages. When you look at the wages of our squad, and I think that's kind of key to see where those sort of players would settle in, it tails off fairly quickly, but it looks to me like a sort of solid, even star players, like regular starters, some of the more important squad members in the team, although actually some of them are actually on quite large money who are probably not going to find much football this season, are on the sort of 1,500 to 2,000 mark, which means we're really looking at a couple of key signings in those positions. I'd be more interested in moving on the likes of, where is he, Julius Eskesson, who is actually wanted, get 1,000 quid off of the wage bill and hopefully some money to go with it. He could finance our entire transfer window, to be honest. Because here's a new thing I've just noticed. When you go into general focus and try to set a priority focus now, it selects the wrong role and way too low on these now automatically for some reason. Also, it's just occurred to me that half the staff at the club apparently left with the previous manager, so we have now got a hell of a mission on our hands to try to actually fill out this side with staff members, because we are lacking that at the moment. I think that honestly has to be our first port of call. I'm just going to try and dig in, because you know how this could be. This is going to be nightmarish because of the staff contracts thing, as always. But I'm going to dig in. Such is the ridiculousness of staff wage demands in this game at the moment. Kenwyn Jones here just asked for £4,000 a week to be a coach for our third team. The man has never had a coaching job in this game. I know Norway's expensive to live, especially in Tromsø, but come on, Kenwyn. So I found this guy, Jakob Windholm. Ironically, again from Esbjerg. We just need to be taking their cast-offs at various clubs. But he's only 18. He would probably be a loan bid. The thing that intrigues me about him is he's fairly, well, presumably, fairly quick. Decent finishing. Even on the minimum side of things, he's got decent finishing. His composure looks to be pretty solid as well. He's very determined. Not the tallest, so he's not going to have that aerial threat that we perhaps had for other players in there. But I do wonder if a lone punt on this guy for a bit might just be a good early start, just so that we can get someone in, have a look at them, and sort of decide later, obviously, you know, what to do with that situation. Because I do want to have a look at Angelkovic, but I don't know if they're going to let us have him. That's being the big problem. But I feel like a loan deal, particularly if it's free, yeah, I mean, we'd pay his wages, but that's barely anything at the moment. I think it'd be worth, there's an optional future fee in there, but that's kind of irrelevant, to be honest with you. So I think that might be okay. May or may not have just put a joke bid in on Fernando Ovalar to see if I could get him back. He's still at Cerro Porteño, but really, this is who we want, Sasha Angelkovic. But the question is whether we can make a deal here. Okay, so at least the meeting's actually gone well, and we've got the atmosphere right up to start with. I was a bit worried. They looked a bit reserved, but then we got the good bump anyway, which is the main thing. Tried to get Fernando Ovalar. Eventually, they came back and said they wanted us to pay pay his wages, but they also wanted 7k a month on top, and we just couldn't afford to do that. It would cost us like 200 grand. And also don't think Fernando Avelar's that good this year, which is a shame because he was a gem last year. Managed to nick Vicente from Degerforge, the guy I brought in before. Bit of a risky one, but he's always such a useful scout to have around, so I figured why not bring him with us. Okay, so Jakob Windholm is going to join us on a loan. Barely any real risk. There's an optional future fee which they put in there, but that's not a big deal. It's a low risk effort just to see, because we have actually had some okay luck with Esbjerg before, with the Kvistgaard loan initially. Didn't work out for us in the long term, but I do wonder if there's something to this guy. I mean, just to remind you, there's some decent base attributes under there in certain areas. Now, obviously, there's a key thing. His off the ball isn't particularly good, and his decisions isn't great either. But then I have a striker on my other save who has low decisions and scores 60 goals a season, so it might not be the end of the world. I just want to hope that he's sort of mid-range on those, but my concern would be, then again, he has actually played for Esbjerg, so it's not like he's not got game time for them. He's getting under 19 caps for Denmark. I don't know, I think there could be a player here. Angry. The fans are angry. Let's see why they're angry. I think, okay, ignoring that for a second, I think there's a pretty solid player here. 16 finishing, 14 dribbling, 13 first touch, 13 composure, 13 acceleration, decent speed to go with it. Doesn't have the height, great agility, great aggression. His determination is decent. His work rate off the ball's not bad either. Passing's not fantastic, but it's not exactly what we're looking for from that role anyway. He does have a left foot on him as well, Jakob Windholm. I don't know. I think there's an interesting player here. I don't think it's the guy I'd want to start. If we could get Angelkovic, then Windholm could just be a nice little backup option there. But I think he's an okay player, really. Maybe just with the right game time this year, he could actually be quite good. Now, we are still going to have to be careful because of the squad res rules in Norway are a bit strict, where you've got 25 players max, and 16 of which have to have been trained in Norway for a certain amount of time, and 9 of them have to have been trained at club as well, I believe. So it's very, very strict on that sort of stuff. So we've got to be careful. But we do still have room to maneuver, particularly if we were to sell someone. Yeah, the recruitment team have found some excellent players. They're all rated A+, which is great, but can't afford any of them. Not even one. So that's good. Useful to know. And Djokovic moved delayed by work permit, but that's fine because I didn't even see the... Oh, it's there. I didn't even see that they'd accepted it. Okay, so there we go. A deal is agreed in place for Sasha Angelkovic to join us on loan for the season. This would be a big deal, I would say, because I think he'd link up lovely in this style of play. And if he can do it in the Swedish top flight, I don't see why he couldn't do it in the Norwegian top flight. So that's extremely good news, provided he says yes. But the news article that I saw before, somewhere down the line, was that he was very keen on the move because he wanted to reunite with Kalle Forsberg. So that's good. Well, that's a positive sign. Our new youngster on loan from Esbjerg just banged a hat-trick in our first friendly match, literally of the season. So that's a good sign, I suppose. God, our recruitment team are actually, and the agent offers as always, but the recruitment team are genuinely finding some amazing players that I cannot go close to trying to sign, but it's awesome that they're finding them. One day it might help. He's in. He's only gone and got him. Sasha Angelkovic joins Tromsø on loan from Chukwuritski for the season. He obviously is just a better all-round player than Windholm is, for sure. He actually does have worse finishing than Windholm, and a few other areas as well, where I think Windholm's probably slightly better, but he's just so much more well-rounded. But to have both of them this year, with that strong left foot, I don't know, I felt like Angelkovic could link up. And he's got 20 goals in 29 appearances for Degerforge, which is a bloody good record for what was a pretty bad team in many ways in the second half of most of the last season. I think he's a great player to bang 20 goals last year. To bring the top scorer from the Allsvenskan here on such a cheap deal, really. I mean, we're paying his wages, and I've given them a little something on top of that in terms of, like, I think £1,000 a month just to sweeten the deal to allow the deal to happen. But I mean, there's an optional fee as always, but it's not too bad. I mean, we wouldn't be able to afford the optional fee, but it's not really about that. It's just about getting him in for the season, really. Problem then comes with who we take out of the squad, but someone's going to have to drop out. Oh, actually, that's easy. It'll be Eskilsson. He's the one to drop out easily because we don't really want him here anyway, and he's already listed, so there's no point in keeping him in the squad for the moment. I feel an awful lot better now that we've got that deal over the line and Angelkovic has joined us, because that just sort of solves that problem. And I think with him and Indestad through the middle, we could genuinely get some cool stuff going there and hope for the best. I suspect that our next port of call really should be another centre-back, because if we're going to play a back three, we need a bit more defense. We need a bit more depth there. We've got a youth intake. Oh my God! You're witnessing it. A genuine, bona fide, actual real-life golden generation has happened to us, where it's actually come up with good players. This is amazing. I've not seen this before on FM22. It's March, nearly. 2 5-star guys. Kenneth Wegerlund. I mean, obviously a long way to go from him to get there, but spirited personalities I find are usually pretty solid, actually. Only 15. The guy could easily be a very good player one day, which is awesome. And what about this guy here? Ulrik Moen as well. Consider, I mean, 18 natural fitness as well, 6 foot tall. He's got very good attributes for someone so young. So I think with the right development, what's his personality? Unambitious, which could hold him back a little bit. It depends what other stuff goes with it, but the low determination does concern me a bit, but it's still a quality player. Then there's Petter Forsberg, Kalle. What have you been doing? Sorry, what were you doing 16 years ago? To be fair, Callie is in his 40s now, so you just never know. And Djokovic just casually banging a hat-trick on his debut in a friendly, which is lovely. Also, massively up the scoring from the previous ones. I guess match fitness helps with that and getting used to the tactical style. So there's this guy, Labros Kois at FC Midtjylland. He's listed for loan. He's a fringe player. We could afford him. I wonder if he's the type of guy that, I mean, look at this. Resolute personality, 6'5", great jumping reach. His heading is actually solid for that. Not fantastic. He's good, and I think he'd be able to slot into our backline reasonably well, and I would quite like to try to bring him in, honestly, on loan. I've managed to get him to agree a loan deal. It does have some clauses I'm not entirely satisfied with in there. However, I suspect that if we could just move on one guy, it would cover it off, and I think this is much more important for us to get another centre-back in, because if we could just get rid of Eskilsson or Wallum, who's leaving anyway, for any kind of money that's not like 10 grand, then I think we'll be fine, but we do need to do that, and I don't know what else to do at the moment. Okay, so Labros Kois has joined us. There's a massive discrepancy between what it says here, that's the assistant's report, admittedly, and my scouts, and I suspect that my scouts have probably better judging potential than my assistant does, so that's actually more, I'm more happy with the way that this one looks. And to be fair, just looking at his attributes, if nothing else, it's that height. He's a decent centre-back, I feel like, and I'm hoping that we can just get some stuff going with him this year, and at least it does build out our backline a little bit with a few more options. So Labros Kois, but honestly, we are really clutching at straws to make any more transfers at the moment. We don't really have the room financially to maneuver anything yet, until such time as we could get rid of a couple of players, really, and that's really the key. At the moment, I might actually have to unregister Bernhardsson just to register this guy, and I don't really want to do that, because there's so many homegrown players required in Norway, it's actually nuts. I know it says maximum of 9 non-homegrown, which is anyone outside Norway, not just like non-EU or non-this or that the other. Basically, if they ain't Norwegian, you'd only have 9 of them. Actually, wait, no, I found a way around it. I just noticed that Linus Bergstrom was registered when he didn't need to be, and he is useful, but he's not as useful as Bernhardsson. We could maybe rash up a decent whack of change and get some wages off the bill to allow us to bring in a couple of like homegrown Norwegian players as well that fit our style a bit better. Luckily, I still have the crowbar to get players to stay. That's so damn useful. Well, hang on just a minute. I just got an email about Real Sociedad are our affiliate club. We might be able to get a couple of loans in, well, I mean, I say a couple of loans. I mean, what will we do with them? But we might be able to potentially like cherry pick a single loan or something from Real Sociedad. I mean, they've got great players, surely. This would be very interesting. I had no idea about that. Only player that stands out to me from Real Sociedad's under-18s is this guy, Roberto Velez, who his heading could be anything. Jumping reach could be, well, could be anything from amazing to Jesus Christ, sit down, mate. Positioning, it's so hard to say. Is it worth a punt for free? 6 months just to see? And there's also this guy, Imanol Ekiza. Surely he can't be that good. But they would let us have him for free on a 6-month loan to try. Point is, Roberto Velez and Imanol Ekiza are going to join us on. This might be the wrong move because of the whole situation with, you know, the non-homegrown players, but it might be just what we need potentially. I mean, as Velez goes, he's not awful. Positioning does concern me, agree, but he could also play in the central midfield for us should we need him to, but that jumping reach is ridiculous. Great stamina as well. He's certainly a man mountain, and Akiza as well could certainly do us a backup job as that deep line playmaker, or even could push on a bit beyond that, to be honest. He's got okay-ish finishing, Imanol Akiza, but a guy that was earning $6 a week at Real Sociedad to come in for free, I can't see much movement likely to happen squad-wise now until the start of the season, just on account of the fact that I've been unable to shift either Eskilsson or Wallum, even with my DOF offering them out for sell at any price. Just nothing. It's completely dead, the interest in our players. There's only been one offer for one of our players, and I don't want to sell him, and that was Helgeson. So it's not likely that we're going to have much cash going around. So I think what it's going to really be is me trying to sort of shoehorn this squad into what we've got. I think the 2 guys from Real Sociedad on loan will help us just for depth, but I want to make sure I can figure out how to get them into the squad, and that's going to be the tough part, I'd say. Oh, God. James Gomez. This is why I wanted to strengthen our backline with depth, because our best centre-back has just got injured 2 days before the start of the... Well, not even 2 days before the start of the season, actually. We haven't even been playing a match. It was just a training session. 5 weeks. Even worse move, Rosenborg just offered a contract to Petter Forsberg, that youngster that just came through our youth intake. I figured we'd just offer them contracts. Thank Christ for that. A bid for Eskilsson. It's a loan with an option, but it's a mandatory option, and they're going to pay us £550 a week plus £6 a month plus nearly £500,000 at the end of the deal. He better say yes, is all I can say, because he's not going to be in the squad for us this season, and it would just at least allow us to free up a bit of extra money over the course of this year, because we are hemorrhaging cash, and this will really make it a lot easier getting into that summer window. What? So Rosenborg have poached Petter Forsberg from us without me. Well, that's extremely irritating. I've not seen him get quite that handsy with our youth players before, at any point in a save, really. He's only just joined us, had signed his contract, and bam, it just offer him a contract straight away. Usually they don't agree to that when you offer them another contract. They're usually like, yeah, no, I'd rather stay with my parent club, and he's just banged off to Rosenborg straight away. Well, bye, Petter. So, squad registration. Now comes the fun part. Eskilsson, obviously, we don't need. That's fine. Can I register a Kiza? No, I can't. So I'm going to have to move some people around in order to make that happen. And how pissed would Real Sociedad be if we didn't register either of them? But that would be kind of pointless, wouldn't it? Oh, Norway be tough, man. It's that tough test of knowing who we need more right now. Do we need someone like a Kiza? Oh, damn it, man. Because Bernhardsson is our starting... I mean, the thing is, he doesn't have to start left wing back, but he's probably the best bet for it out of the current crop of players. I just don't think we can afford to take any of these guys out of the team. Nor really Bernhardsson. And really, I should have thought about that before, to be honest. But I don't think we can put either of the two loanees in, honestly. I can bring in a couple of the younger players into the squad because we can, but I don't think I can actually bring either of them in, and I think we're just going to have to hope that they don't kick up a fuss, but they probably will, and I wouldn't blame them. Why does this guy hate me? I've barely done any press conferences, and this man hates me. Evan Klövrud from the Norwegian Football Post hates me. Why? Wily and not to be trusted. In it. Okay. Match day. First game of the season, away at Sarpsborg. I honestly don't know what to expect from it. I think it's going to take us a little while to settle in. I have been playing the same lineup for the last few friendlies to really try and bed in the match sharpness in those specific players, but also try to build up any links in preseason if we can do, and it seems to be going all right, but we will have to see. Changes will be needed to make today anyway, because both go... How? How is that possible? I am so confused. How could he be suspended? We've not played a league game yet. Suspended for what? Oh my god. In a brilliant turn of events, it appears that Labros Kois was sent off in a league game on loan from Midtjylland at Jerv 3 years ago, and as a result is going to miss our first game of the season in the top flight. Good lord. Who the hell's going to play today then? Matt immediately starts regretting not registering Roberto Veles. So I guess first things first, we put Knudsen back in there, but is that really going to have to be Torringeberger in the middle? It might well have to be, friends. That was not how I wanted to start the season. Everything else is fine. I know Grönbeck's got a slight knock, but it is a one-day tight calf, and it was 2 days ago, so he should actually be okay to play. Gomez obviously can't play, so we'll get him out, and we'll bring in Linset, definitely. That is far from ideal. But you can see what I mean about the match sharpness. Most people are up to scratch, other than the guys that have just been thrown into it right now. No links or anything, but the morale is good, match sharpness is good. We've seen a lot of good stuff out of Angelkovic and Indistad in pre-season. I like this setup. Brooks Lennon is playing for Sarpsborg. I had him on my other save. Right, well, here we go. Moment of truth. First game in charge of Tromsø. What could possibly go wrong? I've selected 2 subs outside the match squad. Oh, I think what it was, I had guys on the bench from a friendly that may have been not able to be registered, so that's probably what it was. This can't be as bad as things were going for us at Degerfors, and it's a brand new start for us with a slightly different system and a team that I think could really take things. I think the Indistad and Angelkovic pairing up top for us today and this season could be an absolute game changer. If Angelkovic can be even half as effective as he was with Degerfors, then we've got something here, I suspect. But we will see. Definitely needs work in other areas, but we've got some quality players. And Conte's in a good spot already. Goes for goal. And Bernhardsson's going to try and come across and cover this. And what a tackle from Bernhardsson. We've got it back again after... Oh, we've lost it again. And now we've got it back again. This is good. This is the kind of intensity I want to see in the opening game of the season. Apologies for the showdown ad boards. I once again have forgotten to take those out after the showdown this weekend. Indistad, back for Helborg. Grönbeck into the spot here. Slips it around the side, and it's a good save. Straight off the bat, though. Really nice work cutting through them. Sort of do. Helgeson picks it, but now he needs to track his runner, and he just doesn't. He's just stood completely still, and it's a ball across, and it's... What a chance for Papazov. It's going to have to go back for... Here we go. That's nice. Now we have to watch the Angelkovic run, really. That's the key. Conte moving it behind. Round the side for Helgeson. Nice work again getting forward here. This is better. Helgeson delivers one. Angelkovic turns and shoots, and it's well saved. Grönbeck's free kick now. And it's just over the bar. First sort of big little opening here, potentially for Sarpsborg. Ball in. Kunde. Oh my god, what a save. I know, it was Helgeson clears off the line, actually. Never mind. Great piece of work from the guys, though. Well, the first half started very well, and it just sort of faded away for us a little bit as the half drew on, though we had some big chances towards the beginning, and it's certainly still a good opening for us, but we need to be taking one of these, as always. Just going to push that tempo up a tiny little bit in the second half, just trying to get that ball moving a bit more, particularly with the amount of possession we've got. Just try to keep them on their toes a bit and not allow them to get too comfortable and patient. I feel like missing 2 of our first choice centre-backs has not helped us today in certain areas. Windholm now, off the bench for Angelkovic, just to try something a little bit different, and Kent-Ore Antonson's also in, ball in, and Windholm! Big save from the goalkeeper again. We've done really well with those types of chances today, just haven't taken them. Antonson to deliver one as well. Now a Grönbeck's header as well, saved as well. Into the channel for someone maybe? Round the side for Windholm, sets himself, he's got tight angle, it's another big save. Helgeson, can he put it across the box? No, he can't. This is all the same passage of play. Helborg. Grönbeck. Indistad now. Round the side for Helgeson. He's got so many bodies to pick out. He just has to find one guy. Indistad! Saved by the goalkeeper. Indistad once more, round the side for Helgas, and he's been fantastic today. Can he put another good ball in or go short perhaps for Helborg? He's cutting back inside, might go for goal. Does, saved by Christensen. Rojas. Cleared away. Drop down. You've got to be kidding me. I am absolutely staggered. I didn't even see what the penalty was for. And we're actually going to lose this match. Incredible. I don't even know what to say. That is ridiculous. How have we not managed to score a goal in this match after all the chances we've managed to create? Tactically, we actually look better than ever. But then, giving up a silly one there, goalkeeper nearly gets it, and we're actually going to lose to these guys. Watch us now immediately score, as is often the case when you fall behind in situations like that. Helgason, come on, push it, lads. Helgason's ball, that's poor, really bad. Grönbeck again, he's been superb. Just sitting in those little positions, taking little balls on. Conte! Oh, it's a goal! And I told you, literally, it always feels like that happens when you pressure a game, the entire game, you concede a late one out of nowhere, and then almost always seem to immediately score straight afterwards. Salzburg 1, Tromsø 1, and there's the equaliser for us. Can we now kick on and find a winner as well? Lovely little bit of work from Grönbeck here. Indistad, oh, it was Windholm actually knocks it around the side for Conte. It's a really weird goal, because it looks kind of soft, but it's a goal. Oh, hang on a minute. 92nd minute. Antonsson, can he put this on someone's head that matters? That's the key. He's got to have some hell of a delivery here. Antonsson's ball in. Windholm! Yes! Jakob Windholm! Salzburg 1, Tromsø 2. We're going to win on the opening day of the season from 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go. Oh, that was such a good cross from Antonsson, and it was Windholm of all people that made the run. The goalkeeper can't keep it out. I don't know why he was the one on the end of it, but he scores his first goal for the club, and this is brilliant. There we go. And that's it. Salzburg 1, Tromsø 2. What a game of football that was. To go behind in the 85th minute and to win it in the 93rd. I was livid when we gave away that penalty, because other than that, they really did nothing in this game, and we were superb. Conte and Windholm ended up getting the goals, not in conventional situations, but Windholm looked really good off the bench when he came in. I feel like Anđelković's time will come in this team for sure, but it's nice to know that we've got a player that can look really solid. Got an assist and a goal off the bench. Brilliant stuff. That's the stuff dreams are made of, and I think that this team, and also, would you notice how good Grönbeck looked in that game, playing as that playmaker role? He was just everywhere, picking up that ball and spraying passes around brilliantly. Helgason looked amazing getting down that right-hand side. We looked really stable for the most part of the back, other than the penalty, but what can you do? So happy with that. We've started with a bang, in the best way possible. It's nice to just see things coming together like that. Now, next up, it's a home against Bram, which is not going to be easy at all, and some cut matches in there too. All sorts of stuff to come. I'm excited about our chances of creating something quite special with Tromsø here. I think that tactically now we're in a pretty good place, and looking like quite a good side. That's the play anyway. Now, I don't know where Salzburg were expected to be, but it's going to be an exciting season, I hope. So if you have enjoyed this, drop a like on the video. That'd be superb. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be lovely as well. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but not this weekend, though. More on that later. Yeah, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Hold your gun. Capybara. Bye-bye.